This this evening, let's explore tinnitus, resistance, and meditation. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This evening we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Ray Skywalker learned to do on Ajahn Kloss under the guidance of General Leia Organa, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Let's see, what button am I looking for? I guess I'm looking for button number 5. Once again, this evening we could explore tinnitus, resistance, and meditation that you too could meditate like a Jedi. M on Reddit posted, military veteran with tinnitus. Looking for some insight on how to deal with tinnitus during meditation. So here's the funny thing. About 6 days ago, I wrote a formal answer to this, and I posted it in response to this question. And this guy wrote back really defensively, saying basically, tinnitus isn't even a thing for me. I completely accept it. And yet he was asking how to deal with it. So, who knows? Maybe you'll find this beneficial. Tinnitus sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. And although it made Beethoven exceedingly cranky, it was unable to extinguish. Wow, I'm having some troubles here. It was unable to extinguish the flame of his genius. Striving to resist the symptoms of tinnitus could be as exhausting and unproductive as trying to resist the tide. The secret is strategic acquiescence. Therapeutically allow tinnitus into your mindfulness by silently reciting, hearing this during each inhalation. The key is not to actively concentrate, but rather notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and spontaneously. You could meditatively transcend the tinnitus by mentally reciting, relaxing during each exhalation, as you set space to release your resistance to its presence. Oh, what a delicious irony that an irritant could drive you to meditate like a Jedi. My friends, it is very, very natural for us to live in resistance. We resist the presence of what we hate. We resist the absence of what we crave. We resist the loss of that to which we cling. This is hardwired into our, for want of a better term, our reptilian dopamine-oriented reward system. But that system does not guarantee happiness or fulfillment or peace. It only guarantees reproduction. The secondary oxytocin-oriented reward system is more mammalian in nature, and it does reward for things that give us peace or a sense of fulfillment, usually by using our talents and our interests in the benefit of others, and by forging strong relationships, professional, personal, platonic, and intimate. And so the resistance that serves the dopamine-oriented reward cycle will undermine the oxytocin-oriented reward cycle. And although this exact terminology was not used by the Buddha many hundreds of years ago, the idea remains the same, that living in resistance takes whatever stress we have and kicks it up a notch, but not in the fun Emeril Lagasse sort of a way. We do not meditate as if to say, bring on the stress, I love the stress. No one loves stress. That's why it's called stress and not cotton candy. But our happiness depends on us learning how to make peace with the things in our lives, whether they're temporary or permanent, pleasurable or painful. Now, it could sound very much like I'm asking you to be a doormat, and that would be poor communication on my part. Because if we meditate in an effective manner, we will find that we automatically find the middle ground between the two extremes of scatteredness and contrivance. We could call that middle ground a centered spontaneity. It's sort of like a creek. And when our choices and utterances and deeds flow from that creek with that flow of centered spontaneity, our life is significantly less stressful and much more fulfilling. Before I begin this evening's chanting and meditating, I'd like to spend approximately, I guess I can't time this tonight. Let's go for 15 seconds of housekeeping. It's sort of ambitious, isn't it? Let's see, I'm going to tap this button, I'll tap button 6. Every 12 hours I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel is supported by the generosity of viewers just like you. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this sounds like a good idea to you, and you want to help out even for as little as the cost of a cup of coffee a month, then no biggie. That's great. Just turn your attention to the what's it called? The description area below the video. You'll find links for Patreon as well as PayPal. You'll find YouTube buttons that read join or that have a currency symbol on them. Click any one of those 4 things and you'll be well on your way to helping us out. I'm checking for questions and I don't see any. Going to check on the time. We're doing pretty good, so I think it could be fun if together as a team we chanted the final 6 passages of my adaptation and amplification of the Padmakara group's translation of Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones, the final meditation manual of the great Tibetan Buddhist yogi Za Patrul Rinpoche. This was written, or at least dictated, in the latter part of the 1800s. Sorry that my spiel lasted 52 seconds, not 15. One can try. The first part my sorrowful tirade this decadent age's ways was a reproof I had intended for myself. This sad lament has affected me deeply. Whoopsie. Now I offer it to you, thinking you might feel the same. If that is not the case, and you have total confidence in the loftiness of your view and meditation, was ideas about how to compound the worldly and the spiritual, and the diplomatics go to settle problems to the satisfaction of all. If you have all that, then I offer you my apologies. I'm going to do a quick edit because the word total confidence here really is a Tibetan thing, and they sure do mean well, but the problem with trying to have confidence is that it creates more grasping than it solves. So I'm going to do a quick edit here and do a paraphrase. You'll know it's a paraphrase because it's in italics. And that's my pattern. If I replace one word with another, I put it in italics. If I add a whole phrase, I put it in brackets. Because why on earth would I want to deceive anybody? That's just silly. The second board, my dissertation, establishing view and meditation. Since, of course, I have no experience of realization at all, just sets out what I have understood by the grace of the teachings from the precious lineage of the all-knowing Father and Son. The third part, my exhortation to relinquish everything in practice, though you may well miss the point of self-doubt by itself, yet since it in no way contradicts the words of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it would be truly kind of you to put it into practice. Here's a fun fact. The Tibetan books are typically just collections of rectangular strips of paper, often the length of your forearm. And there appears to be strong evidence that this was originally written as a set of 81 quatrains, or sets of 4 lines, because Western paper and Western computer screens aren't that long. I had to break them down, the 4 lines, into 4 pages per quatrain. This discourse virtuous in the beginning, middle, and end, was written in the cedars. Okay, this is tough to pronounce. White, rock, rock. White rock, white rock. Okay, here we go. Was written in the cedars cave of White Rock Victory Peak. For an old friend whose pleas could no longer be resisted by that ragged old fellow Wapu Ralpo ablaze with the 5 poisons. So Wapu is an honorific term. So Zapatru and Pache's students called him Apu. Then so he calls himself Apu Rapo, which means teacher in filthy rags. He just wanted to take himself down a notch or two. I have just been rattling on a number, so what? My theme is of great worth and its meaning unerring. So the merit it brings I offer to you and to all of us throughout the 3 worlds. May the wishes we make inspired, may the wishes we make inspired by the teachings come true. All right, tomorrow morning, if all goes well, we'll start back with the first quatrain. Try to do this every week. This text is lauded by the Dalai Lama, and I try to give my students every spiritual advantage I can. Okay, it's 13 after. I think we're making pretty good time. So I'm going to tap button 9, and we can turn to the latest practice text. This is the latest version of Green Heroine's Easy Tantra. Any educated idiot can make things more difficult, more complicated, and more violent. It takes a lot of courage and a little bit of genius to move in the opposite direction. Excuse me. We'll begin by embracing meditation's loving motivation. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from their happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Through the cause and effect of my practice of love and letting go, may each sentient being of each world now practice with me in unison. So before we explore the the exact meaning of the 10-syllable mantra we're going to recite 19 stanzas, which may fill you with the enthusiasm of how we can be transformed by playing with this mantra. Om Hamasha, the noble lady, Tara, with Tare, you walk swift and gallant, with two Tare, you banish fear. With today you fulfilled every need, with so may it be so. So who is this Tara person? Tara, from this point of view, from my perspective, Tara is an archetype of enlightened activity. If we view her as a goddess or treat her as a goddess, it could just strengthen our clinging tendencies, which won't really help us. But if we view her as an archetype, then emulating her could really be helpful. Homage to the noble lady Tara, homage to Tara, swift and gallant, glance flashes like flares of lightning. So I really feel this is in need of an edit. So homage to Tara, swift and gallant, your glance flashes like flares of lightning. Born on the heart of a blossoming lotus, the rose from the tears of the triple world's Lord. Homage to her whose countenance is like 100 full autumn moons gathered in autumn, smiling and glowing with brilliant radiance like 1,000 stars clustered ablaze. Let's make sure the display is still synchronized. Homage, golden blue lady, whose lotus hand is graced both a bolt of one flower, the embodiment of generosity, diligence, endurance, serenity, patience, and meditation. Homage to her whose victories are endless, which are filling true love, the great Tathagata's crown. She is well suited by the heirs of the victors, those who have accomplished all their perfections. Homage to who with two Tare, and whom fills desire roams unto the ends of space. She tramples underfoot the seven worlds and has the strength to summon all protectors. Homage to you, praised by Indra, Agni, Brahma, Maruts, and Shiva. Bhutas, Vetalas, Gandharvas, and Yakshas pay tribute to her. All right. Homage to her who with tray and pages crushed the enemies, jumpers to dust. With right leg bent in and left extended, shining she treads amidst flames wildly blazing. Homage to her who with today, this fearsome lady is the destroyer of the most powerful demons. Lotus face, Lotus face, yet deep furrowed brow, she is the slayer of each and every foe. Homage to her whose fingers display the mudra of the three jewels. Raced by your wheel, adorning every direction, emitting a dazzling radiance that overwhelms all. Homage to her for whom supreme joy is a radiant garland that crowns her in splendor. Smiling and laughing with two Tare, she brings demons in the world under control. The idea is by flowing from centered, and we don't, instead of forcing things to be just so, by flowing from centered spontaneity, making that our only goal, everything else falls into place. A master who can summon the host of earthly guardians, her frown quivers with a syllable hung that delivers us from every misfortune. Ooh, here's an idea. Do bear with me. Well, I have an attack of creativity. In my mind's eye, it looked much better. A monster who's so brightly adorned with a sliver of moon as her crown. As Amitabha graces her locks gleaming rays forever stream forth. A monster who's seated in a halo blazing with apocalyptic flames, her right leg stretched out and left bent inward. Immersed in joy, she crushes legions of foes. One moment, if you please. Let's turn on the editing mode. Okay, let's see if this lends itself to greater comprehension. A monster who's seated in a halo blazing with apocalyptic flames, her right leg stretched out and left bent inward. Immersed in joy, she crushes legions of foes. Do 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 do. Yes, for your entertainment pleasure. Okay, here we go. Take two. Going to first verify the synchronization. A monster who's seated in a halo blazing with apocalyptic flames, her right leg stretched out and left bent inward to mist and joy, she crushes legions of foes. I'd say that is an improvement. I hope you would agree. A monster who on the surface checks her palm and stumps her feet, her brow deeply furrowed with whom and the seven nether worlds are tamed. O Master who blissful gracious, O Master who blissful gracious, domain the peace of Nirvana. O Master, whose blissful gracious domain is the peace of Nirvana, with whom in so one perfect union she lays waste to every terrible evil. O Master, who immersed in rapture shatters the bodies of all her foes, she manifests from the wisdom syllable, displaying her mantras and syllables. O Master, who feast on pink bully from the sea, from the syllable, the supreme mountain Mandara, and all the three worlds she causes them to quake. O Master, who holds in her hand a dear marked moon like a divine lake, with Tara twice and then with pay she totally cleanses all poisons. I want to make sure that the syllable pay appears clearly on your screen. If you have trouble reading the syllable spelled P-E-Y, just let me know in the comment area, and I'll make changes. O Master, who is served by kings of gods, by gods and Kimnara, suited in armor of joy and splendor, she dispels all nightmares and soothes away strife. O Master, whose eyes shine with luster, bright with the fullness of sun and moon, with twice her Tara and Dudara, she pacifies the most unruly diseases. I'm not spelling that word correctly. Invokes the octave static courage to tade pacification and to the increase. So heart supplicates with these attributes, may I liberate all. As we chant the mantra, could feel as if a breath were emitting from a thumbnail sized horizontal tensor and mantra rosary at our heart. Lavishing all man's communication, bodies and circumstances, with joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe good fortune. At long last, we've come to our mantra meditation. The second half will be focused on the wisdom of letting go. The first half, will be focused on love. Let us lovingly wish that all minds of all beings, real or imagined, now possess the wisdom of letting go that we would imagine a Buddha possessing. And let us... And this type of enlightened mind is often symbolized by a one-syllable mantra known as a seed mantra. Om Nare 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 So 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 Om Nare Nare Let us lovingly wish that all communication and its interpersonal consequences of all beings, real or imagined, was now as loving as we would imagine a Buddha's communication to be, symbolized by mantra. Om Let us lovingly wish that all bodies of all beings, real or imagined, now be as healthy as we see depicted in tantric art. What we see depicted in tantric art is the archetype of enlightened action. This type of archetype is known in Tibet as a yadam. Om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so ha. Om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so ha. Om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so ha. Some people ask me, is Tara a real entity? The answer is, I don't know. And how can you become a Buddha? Tara wouldn't make me a Buddha. Tara is an enlightened archetype. What is enlightenment? Well, an enlightened person has mastered the yogas of training their mindfulness and their love and their letting go, or their capacities, their faculties of mindfulness, love, and letting go in the most liberating way, the most empowered way. They've mastered that path. Every healthy mammal contains a sympathetic nervous system, which is wired for mindfulness, an anterior cingulate gyrus, which is wired for empathy, and a parasympathetic nervous system that is wired for physical relaxation and mental release. In other words, letting go. So we already possess that. Unless we are a survivor of catastrophic brain damage and we're missing those chunks of our central nervous system, we all have the basic building blocks for enlightenment. It's been my experience as one who is energy sensitive, and it doesn't make me spiritual, that's just the way this body of mine is configured. As one who is energy sensitive, I've found that different mantras have different effects on different bodies. You might find this mantra, you might find that contemplating with this mantra might support your meditation. And if that's the case, you're welcome to hang out with me. If you find that the way I contemplate and meditate undermines your peace and your joy, then it's in your best interest to find a teacher more in harmony with your needs of the present moment. Om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so om da de de da de 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 so ha. Let us lovingly wish that all circumstances of all beings, real or imagined, now be as fortunate and as safe as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, whatever it's called, whether you call it a Pure Land or a Vati, whatever you call it. Whoops. Ooh, excuse me. My goodness. As promised, we're now going to explore the wisdom of letting go. We're going to explore it in 3 parts. The first part will be a reminder of what is meant by the words emptiness or voidness. The second part will be mantra-oriented. The third part will not. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. One time, I guess it was late spring, early summer, me and a bunch of students laid on our backs on the lawn upon a blanket and gazed up at the blue sky while meditating. The following 8 exercises, the 4 with mantra and the 4 without mantra, what do they have in common? Besides their subject matter, their technique is rhetorical question. Why is it that as we inhale, we could visually observe our circumstances, and yet as we physically relax into our exhalation, this exact same circumstance, whether it is safe or perilous or abundant or full of lack, could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a Buddha's paradise comprised only of light? Perhaps it's like something painted by Maxfield Parrish. Om to really feel like you are releasing your experience of circumstance, relax as best you can while chanting. Why is it that as we inhale, we can sensually experience our bodies, and yet when we physically relax into the chanting of the mantra, it could feel as if these bodies, these exact same bodies, whether they're beautiful or ugly or healthy or ill, could feel as if they were as non-graspable as an archetype of enlightenment comprised only of light. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Why is it that as we inhale, we can really hear our communication and its interpersonal consequences, and yet, as we physically relax into the recitation of the mantra, this exact same communication, whether it is cruel or kind or clunky or eloquent, could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a mantra comprised only of light. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. How is it that as we inhale, our mind's functions of perception, emotion, intention, reason, recall, and imagination could appear to us so vividly, so clearly, and yet, as we physically relax into the chanted recitation of the mantra, this exact same mind could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable comprised only of light. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. Om Dare Nu Nani Nu Re So 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 Ha. And now we come to the non-mantra oriented wisdom contemplations that I told you of. The two pillars of confusion would be competitiveness and clinging. We're going to explore them metaphorically. How could all places bliss valley melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this body? How could all bodies blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this communication? How could all speech blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this mind? How could all minds blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into infinite emptiness? And now we come to our silent meditations. Let us begin by relaxing into the non-graspable nature of sensation. Let us relax into the non-graspable nature of sound. May all beings have the joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe boon of great heroines, mythical mind, speech, form, and lot. May all beings like great heroine, master being, flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and commerce flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings like green heroine master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate all others. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. Hours, we could return to explore twisted thoughts, speech, and deeds. That is an interesting way of spelling thoughts, don't you think? We'll also chant and meditate. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.